Robin is, if you haven't seen her yet, you will. I probably have the whiteboard up, or you can just see us there, and then we'll introduce her in a couple of minutes. If you are joining us, just a reminder to go into the chat and put your contact information so we have that. We want to be sure that you have our information too, so we'll get that to you after the interview tonight. I'm so excited. This is the first of many series, and excited to have Robin here with us. So just as we get to 7:30, I know people are doing a bunch of things tonight, and they're probably going to be jumping on throughout the evening. And I'll keep reminding you for people to put their info in that chat box there. So to start off, first I want to let everybody know where how I kind of work these seminars and to this evening and moving forward. I love starting from a point of, just to give you an idea of what we're going to cover in the time period. And Robin and I wanted to make it fairly easy and quick for you to virtually fly down to one of the greatest places that we think, and that's the whole topic of this, top areas to retire to from New Jersey. And then get in touch with the top KW agents, because we're a little bit biased, KW agents, to help you get to those destinations. So we're basically taking a virtual tour to the Gulf Coast today, and we have the area expert with us, Robyn Woodall. I'm going to introduce her in a couple of minutes. Hey, Olga, thanks for joining. So I do have on here the whiteboard. You can take a screenshot of that. You can write down Robin's information. I'm going to say it a couple of times throughout this evening. Anybody who is on this evening, you want Robin's information because she is your ground person, or will be your ground person at the Gulf Coast after this evening. If you're looking for more information, places to go, things to do, and we're going to talk about that. Her cell is 229-347-0465. And Robin's email is Robyn, ROBYN, at email.hy.com. So that being said, let's jump into, and I think everybody could see me now and also see Robin. I'm gonna have her chime in here in a minute, and I'll keep looking at this. I see Robin and everybody here, but I need to be looking up here too. I'll let that go by the wayside. So, how I work and how we're gonna do this. I come from grateful and thanks for you being here tonight. If you're not watching this evening, a lot of people are probably going to be watching this on YouTube. And my goal is I look at next the needs, and we're going to talk about why we put this together. Most importantly, and we'll say it, go through it a couple of times, but so many people moved out of New Jersey last year. If you saw my advertisements for this, 60 to 65% of the moves last year in New Jersey left New Jersey. So boom, there's a huge need. What's the need? The need is to get people in touch with where they want to go. But who's got thousands of dollars to start spending on, hey, let's go see a place this weekend, honey? That doesn't always happen. So my thought is, let's take you to those places. And what's awesome about KW is that we get to meet all of our agents all the time,
Hello.
2 times a year, which is awesome. Just as a message to
Let's
everybody
see, Milligan.
coming on, please go on mute. It's in the bottom left-hand corner, which is easy. I thought I had it set up that way, but if I didn't, just hit mute, and then we'll have a question
Just
answer session later. So there's the need. The need is, honey, where should we be looking? Well, I want to be looking for a place to go. Where should we do it? Oh my gosh, here's a seminar that KW is having, and they're putting us in touch with great agents, and I can isolate those areas, find those best agents for you, and put you in touch with them tonight, and have a virtual tour of that area and talk to the agent and what they love about the area. Tonight, we're going to be speaking with the area expert, Robyn Woodall. So she's going to talk about why she moved there, what she does there, and I'll get into what she's going to be talking about. So she really is our solution tonight. She is your ground person there, and I'm excited to talk to her. Then we're going to get into questions and answers, because I want you to be able to answer some questions. And then I like going into some type of an agreement. Hey, did you get value out of this? This is not the only time you're going to see Robyn. I'm doing a series of agents because so many people are leaving New Jersey, and I want to keep revisiting the places, so you're not just exposed to them once. But we're going to see Robyn again, it probably late summer, then fall, then winter. What's going on there? There's some things that I heard when I talked to her about the Gulf Coast, which I didn't know, which makes it a fabulous place to think about retiring to. Or investing. She had a home that I wanted to invest in last week, and boom, it was off the market quickly. So think about retirement, but you also may want to be thinking about investment, especially there. So that's kind of how we're going to go. And again, I keep telling everybody, please put your information into the chat box, because I'm going to take a screenshot of that later. I did put Robyn's information in there, and I did put my information in there. So if you have any questions for her down there, you can get in touch with her. If you have any questions for what the market is up here, the key to this, and I'll get into it too, is that you've got a team of people. You're going to list here, what do we need to do here? You're going to buy there or invest there. What do you need to do there? And you've got Robyn and I working with you on that to keep everything together, because it is, as you know, probably one of the most competitive markets out there that we've seen, more competitive than COVID. So that's why I started the series. I talked about we're going to revisit these great agents. I'll probably do one of these a month, so you see Robyn again, probably late summer. Housekeeping, please come on mute, and if you could stay in mute. Anybody that's coming on, if you could stay in mute, that would be great. Can you stay in mute, Gordon? Yep. Thank you. Or whomever's on there. Taj, I think you're not on mute. So try to jump. There you go. You're on mute. Awesome. So that's why I started this. Housekeeping, stay on mute. We are going to have a question answer session after this. Put your contact information in the chat box. Robyn's contact information. I want you to have that. And we talked about the need, but I'm going to go into the need in detail, and then we're going to get into what Robyn's going to be talking about. Just to state the numbers again, 65% of the people left New Jersey last year that sold. That means they're going somewhere. That means my job is to find the best agents and best areas that you should be going to. And we're starting off first, our inaugural series with Robyn in the Gulf Coast. This is an opportunity for Keller Williams, I think, to bridge the gap and to connect you. I'm finding that I'm working with a lot of baby boomers right now that are looking for places to go. And if we can keep the cost down and make it really effective for you, it's a win-win for everybody. And you're only going to get great agents on here. And we're about to introduce you to a great one here. Retirement in and of itself, it's a milestone, and you do it to improve your quality of life. So whether you're going to do that in 1 year or 5 years, it really doesn't matter. I think you want to start researching where you're going to go. What's the market there? What are the things to do? I know people that have retired places and then been like, oh, we didn't think about everything that we should have, and we kind of rushed on this. I don't want anybody rushing. There's no reason to. So that's why you can start now. I also think this move that you make is not one that you have to make. It's one that you want to, if it's the right decision for you, you want to start looking at all the factors that come into place, your cost of living, your finances, what does your budget look like? Is it the lifestyle that you want? And that only makes sense if you got a connection on the other side. So with no further delay, I'm going to introduce Robyn Woodall. She is, whether you're watching this live tonight or you're watching this on YouTube later on, we're going to be spending about 15-20 minutes with her. She is extremely dedicated to her profession. She knows the area extremely well. I'm not just asking any agents to be with us. Crawford Lorenzo Home Selling Team has very high expectations. Robyn has very high expectations of who we work with and how we get things done. It is a pleasure to introduce her today. And she is sitting in probably one of the most wonderful places I could see. I wish I was sitting there. It looks like she's on vacation. Welcome, Robyn. How are you? Can you hear me? Where'd she go? Are you there? I think she popped off. Barbara's on, Carol's on, Chris is on, Erica's on. Where did Robyn go? Hopefully she's popping back on. Hello, hello, hello. I know people can hear me.
We hear you.
Hi, Olga. Let me see where she went. She must have had something may have happened to her.
The picture wasn't moving. Probably she just the connection.
Yeah, she probably had a bad connection. She'll be back. Technical break, of course. Let me grab her and see if she's jumping on. I know she'll be here in a second. Yeah, drop it. I might be able to chime her in here. jump back on.
There she is.
There she is. Hello, hello.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi went out and it wasn't working very
That's
well.
all right. I was just there, right back to where you were. There she is in the most beautiful spot. And we're a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us tonight. So I just talked about, you told
Yeah,
me when I was
thank you
giving
so
all
much for
you your
having
great
me. No,
accolades about being dedicated, being a wonderful agent, and that beautiful background. Where are you? Where are you tonight? Where are you sitting?
so today I'm at my favorite restaurant. It's called Leela's Tuscan Grill. It's got a beautiful sunset view right over the bay, and everything is homemade, and it's my absolute favorite place to come and have my daughter for dinner. So
Oh,
we're just sitting here
awesome.
having some dinner, and I'm excited to talk to all of you.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's been some time coming. I got a couple of questions to ask you, so our guests can ask, get to know
Absolutely.
you a little bit, and then we're going to jump into the area that you call home, the Gulf Coast. Let me ask you this: what got you into real estate? You mentioned when we started talking about this that you got into real estate because you mentioned you like helping people with things that move them, and it's always a joy to know why people get into their profession.
Yeah, so honestly, I've always had a passion for real estate. When I was little, I would have my parents just drive me around through neighborhoods because I love the architecture of them. And honestly, I just love people. It's really important to me to get to know the people that I'm working with and just really get a good understanding of who they are and what's important to them and whether it's helping them to move to a better quality of life or a more affordable place or just some place that they can go to their own retreat, where they go to escape the world and be at peace in their own home is really important to me. So I really love getting to know my clients and just find what moves them, physically and mentally and all of the different ways. It's really important to me.
No, I think, and what you said there is being at peace. I think when people go to retire, I think the people that I know have moved to places, some areas, and they didn't feel that way. So I think opening my eyes up to the Gulf Coast, I think it's a wonderful place to consider. We talked about the diversity, we talked about the homes, the type of homes, the prices. We'll get into all that. One of the things when you introduced me to the Gulf Coast, I said, you said the Panhandle. What actually is that area that you cover?
So actually, I've been coming to the Panhandle of Florida my entire life. I've lived all over from Mexico Beach, Panama City, Destin. Now I live in the Gulf Breeze area, which is close to Pensacola. And I actually cover that entire stretch of land because I'm so familiar with it and I've been coming here my entire life. So um, our team, I'm on the Hanson team, and we're the number one team in the region. We're wonderful, wonderful. We love working with everybody, especially people that are new to the area and helping them to get accustomed with, the different communities. But we actually cover all the way from Orange Beach, Alabama, Gulf Shores area, all the way to the Panama City area, which is a huge stretch of land. But there are so many different communities within that stretch of land that you know, really have a lot of they're very different. Every single one of those communities is very different. And so it's important to me to get to know the people that I'm working with and find out what's important to them and try to help introduce them to different communities that they might actually really enjoy.
I was actually intrigued when we talked about the area too, because as you know, I love the outdoors and the seasons. And when you're working from an area from Alabama all the way to Pensacola, that whole stretch, one thing that we're going to get into tonight is the seasons and the fact that you do have some seasons down there. I think that's something really attractive for New Jerseyites, if you would. And because sometimes to give up those seasons is really difficult. My brother-in-law just moved down, to Florida, and he's like, oh man, the seasons, mountain biking, they're doing this. I can't wait to hear about what you love doing down there. And that's the next question before we dive into some details, and I'll give you some topics here that I think retirees, want to hear about. But before we dive into the lifestyle, what are some of the hobbies that you love doing down there? Because I know you love it there so much.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many different holidays. I mean, realistically, we have about 230 days of sunshine, in the year,
Oh, I
and
don't mean holidays. I mean,
you know,
hobbies, not holidays. Did you get hobbies? The hobbies that you do?
yeah, no, that's what I was
Oh,
saying. So we
yeah.
have so many days of sunshine that, it's April right now, and I'm able, while the water is still a little bit cold for me to swim in, it's perfect to go paddle boarding on, a crystal clear day. I can go out paddle boarding. I like to go hiking. There's a lot of different parks here in the area. If you go north just a little bit, there are a lot of rivers and creeks that you can go canoeing and kayaking in. There's a little bit of mountain biking if you do like to do that. There's just a lot of fishing, boating. Realistically, there's just so many outdoor activities that you can enjoy.
Why do you think people choose to? I'm guessing you work with people that have come down from here or other parts of the country. We've got people from North Carolina on this call, South Carolina on this call. There may be people that are thinking of, it doesn't have to just be New Jersey. I know we were reaching out to a lot of people. Why do people move to the Gulf Coast, do you think?
So I think that for a lot of people, when they think of Florida specifically, they think more of Central and South Florida. And I don't think that so many people really even consider this stretch of land, this, panhandle. We're a little bit unique in the fact that we actually do have a little bit of seasons. We do have a little bit of winter. It doesn't necessarily snow here, but we do have a little bit of change of scenery where it gets cold for a little period of time, and it's we have a lower cost of living than South and Central Florida, and we just have a different quality of life, in my opinion. It's not nearly as crowded as some Central and South Florida communities, and it's just it's a
Crowded,
lot more laid back here.
not
And
crowded and laid back. Imagine that, people from New Jersey. Well, that's one of the things that I think is so attractive, not crowded and laid back life. You also gave
yeah,
me when we started talking about this, there's this overall coastal feel or this New Orleans feel. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
I'm
Hello?
sorry, I didn't hear what you said. It locked up.
Oh, that's okay. I said when we were talking earlier on, you had talked a little bit about the New Orleans coastal feel, and
Yeah,
how
so
special that is.
we're about 2.5 hours from New Orleans, and so Pensacola is actually America's first settlement. Um, Even before St. Augustine necessarily, it just wasn't really considered because I guess a hurricane took us out many years ago, and so they didn't consider us. But we're the city of five flags, and we're about 2.5 hours from New Orleans, and it's just I always, when people have never been to the area, I always call it, a clean little New Orleans with a coastal feel. It's,
Awesome.
you know, right next to, you're surrounded by water. We have festivals all the time. I think this weekend it's, the Crawfish Festival, the Seafood Festival. We also had the 30A Singer-Songwriters Festival coming up. And it's like every month there's a different festival coming up. We have fantastic gallery nights where the streets shut down, and there's local vendors and lots of local art and just music in the streets. And it's just a really good feel.
It's almost like a close-knit community, like along
It is
that
a close-knit
the
community.
whole
Yeah.
stretch. Like when you talk about things, it's like, hey, I'm connected here, I'm connected there, I'm doing this, but not overwhelming, not crowded, calm. I love the fact that there's seasons. You talked about the lower cost of living. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm not going to get into because it's one of my favorite topics is the food part of it. My uncle lived in New Orleans for years and still goes back every year for Jazz Fest and the food and crawfish. And when Robin was talking about the Crawfish Festival, I was like, God, I got to get down there and eat down there. That I want to talk about too, because I think there's a huge coming from New Jersey. We love our food. It is hard to find great food everywhere else. And if you could find an environment where you've got, you know, how can you beat New Orleans food? You almost can't, except New Jersey. It's pretty good. Um, Tell me a little bit about the cost of living. One of the one of the most attractive things I think about considering this area for retirement are the taxes.
Yeah, so just on general, from what I can tell, where this area is, we have about a 4.5% lower cost of living than the national average. We don't have any we don't have any state taxes. Once you have been here, you can also apply for um, lower property taxes once you hit the age of 65. And that's a huge benefit. You know, I have a good friend that she's from New York and New Jersey, and she was saying that her property taxes there were about 30,000 a year, and that is almost unheard of here. That's never gonna happen. And I'm not gonna say it's never gonna happen, but it is not anywhere close to that in any of these communities right now. So, you know, not having state income taxes is huge, and not having as high of property taxes is huge. Just, you know, as for a cost of living, I think our average price point in the Pensacola area is about 320,000 for a single family residence. There are obviously different communities that do have higher cost of living and, you know, price per square footage for their homes, but it's just about what is important to you and what kind of community that you're looking for.
You know, and I like that too. I think when I was talking to Robin, reason we got along so well, we like similar things. She can live in an area, and also you've got. I love New Jersey because I can live in one area, but I also know there's kind of sophistication in one part of it. There's outdoor living in one part of it, and I got the sense that you have that down there. Some of the homes and some of the places that she showed me, just to be around them, and you know they're in driving distance. I think you know whether it was $10 or $20 million homes too, that also feeds into the economy as well. And it's nice to be around that sophistication too. And, you know, I know it's diverse. Somebody may be looking for a $320,000 house or investment. Somebody may be looking at a $10 million house down there as
Yeah,
well.
very different communities. There are some master plan communities here in this section of Florida where everything is within a 15-minute pretty much walk. The majority of people, you know, walk or bike throughout the entire community, which is fantastic. And we do have private beaches in those areas where, you know, if you're not owning or renting in that community, then those beaches are only for those people. There's a lot of just different kinds of communities. If you're looking for an investment property, there are certain communities that are great for that and really sought after. And if you're looking for a quieter pace of life and beaches, you know, there's certain communities for that as well.
The one of our favorite pastimes up here, I'm not very good at it. I'm learning how to play the game, is golf. Uh, I'd probably rather be fishing, but golf is something that is good for a lot of reasons too. Connecting is one of them. Staying active, especially I'd love to play that sport when I'm, you know, 75, 80, you're still walking 4 or 5 miles. There are country clubs and golf courses there that I'm
Yeah,
sure
we
are
have a ton of
beautiful.
country clubs and golf courses. My dad actually still lives in Georgia, but he comes down here just to play golf at, you know, the different communities. And some of them are public, some of them are private. It really just depends on what you're looking for. But there is phenomenal golf here in the area. Um, and it is, like you said, it is a great way to stay active. I grew up playing with my dad all the time.
You mentioned a specific outdoor activity that is that a lot of people up here actually like, and they travel to do it. I can imagine moving down there for retirement, probably becoming more and more popular. Scuba diving, you said,
Oh
is
my gosh,
pretty
scuba
popular.
diving is huge down here. Yeah, absolutely. There are numerous reefs that have been um, put into the water specifically for scuba diving. We also have a ton of natural springs, you know, within a short drive that you can go to and do those scuba diving trips as well. There are so many different activities. You can learn how to sail. This is actually going to be the new home of American Magic. They are going
Wow.
to have their port here in the future. So um, there's just
Oh,
so
I just
many
got,
different outdoor activities.
if people don't know what American Magic is, can you tell them?
Um, so I believe it's the international racing team, if
Yep.
I understand correctly.
Yeah, so I think that's huge. Wow, if they chose that, it's and you do have a lot of sailors, you know, up here. And I think as people watch this again on my Facebook page, Robin's Facebook page, we're gonna have this posted on YouTube. You know, the whole tri-state area, I think the Panhandle and the Gulf Coast is a place you can consider. So food we talked about and restaurants. What's your favorite restaurant down there?
I mean, I really have so many. I eat a lot of seafood. Peg leg pizza is probably one of my all-time favorites. I love their baked oysters. It's
Wow.
probably my favorite place to
Bravo.
go and take people to. I
What's the name
also
of that?
like,
What's the name of that
it's
place
called
again?
Peg Leg Pete's. It's just a little pirate dive
Egg
bar.
leg Pete's.
Yeah, there's a long wait, but their food is phenomenal. And they,
Awesome.
you know, whenever you're not, while you're waiting on your table, usually downstairs they have live music playing and a bar downstairs. There's a playground. It's right on Lafitte Cove Marina. So you'll see the fishermen coming in on their boats. They got the fish. They're out there cleaning it. And then you just take it upstairs and they'll cook it all up for you. I suggest getting it
Oh.
blackened or in the Cajun fried seasoning, and it is phenomenal.
I got,
So
I
yeah.
got, I got a tear in my eye right now. I could taste it. We talked about socializing. One of the things that we talked about too, and I know we're going past our 50 minutes, but I think it's valuable. I think everybody should be booking their weekend. Ask Robin where to go. You already know where to go to dinner. She can put you into an Airbnb too.
I'll
Socializing,
go
we
with
talked
you.
about. Socializing is important. It sounds like that happens a lot down there for every age group. The quartz sand beaches, where are those?
The quartz sand beaches, I mean, they're all along the entire coast. So you have those in, you know, Gulf Shores, you have those in Orange Beach, you have those in Perdido Key if you're looking for a smaller beach area that's not as populated at all. It's very quiet over there, which it's old Florida, which is really lovely. You've got Pensacola Beach, you've got Navarre Beach, which has been ranked the #1 beach numerous years now. It's a quiet little town with beautiful beaches, and there's not much there other than the beautiful beaches. You've got Destin beaches, you've got 30A, Panama City Beach. They're all the way along, and we have the
Fantastic.
most beautiful emerald waters.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it sounds like I think you're right when people think of Florida, and we'll kind of close this in a little while, but I don't think people think of the Gulf Coast as much. I think they think, down a little bit more south. Tell me about a couple of hot topics here, no pun intended, the weather. What is the weather like down there? I guess you can give a feeling for each season.
Yeah, so I mean it's spring right now, the beginning of spring, and I think it's probably about 75 degrees outside right now. I think it got up to maybe 78 today, and it's been absolutely beautiful. I think the winters, we don't often get snow. I think I've been here for about 14 years and we had one snow day since I've been here, and I don't even really think that it stayed on the ground with the snow, but so you definitely don't have to shovel snow, which is nice. But I think that, January and February are probably going to be our coldest months. We do have about, I would say maybe a week where it gets down to the 20s. They're, enough to freeze all of the plants. And then the next week it's back to the 70s.
Awesome.
Yeah, usually Christmas Day, I think our family goes to the beach, and, um, you know, you
Sounds
definitely don't get
awesome.
that up north.
No, I think there was snow on the beach this past Christmas up here. And we do love our beaches. That's why I think this is such a great area to consider, for retirement. The other factor I think a lot of people, the baby boomers, are looking out, because we do have very good healthcare up here. Can you give us some insight into what the healthcare is down the Gulf Coast?
Yeah, so I mean, I have had a lot of clients actually move to the area because of our healthcare systems. We do have a lot of medical facilities, and they are some of the highest ranked medical facilities across the country. Andrews Medical is here, and um, you know, they do a phenomenal job. Also, our cost of healthcare is tremendously lower than the majority of areas as well. I believe they said it's about 6.5% lower for the cost of healthcare compared to other areas. We are surrounded by military bases, so we do have a VA hospital here as well, which is
Wow.
wonderful. We have great healthcare, in my
No, I
opinion.
think that means a lot, especially since, we have a lot of VA members up here. They're looking for places to go, to know that there's a place to go, that they're going to be well taken care of. I think is key. Um, we talked about the cost of living. We talked about the diversity in homes and prices, home styles. You probably don't have a lot of colonials. I'm working on probably 10 of my contracts right now are people that have stairs and they're looking for places that don't have stairs. My biggest client is, and I'll put this out there. You all know, because you hear me on my Monday morning market review. If you are a baby boomer or senior, just somebody that doesn't like stairs, and you're looking for one floor living, and I think we've seen what the older generation has gone through. We're getting out of those colonials. We're getting into one floor living. What are the style homes that are down there that you have?
So we do have a variety of different styles of homes. We are pretty flat here along the coast, so we don't really have basements very often. It's very rare to have that. We do have a lot of single level living, a lot of cottages. There are obviously a couple of different styles of townhouses, but I would say that the majority of our homes in this area are just single level living.
Awesome. And that's something that is so important to think about. I thought about it in my 50s. I know we got the generations that are 60 years old, 70-year-old old, and 80. And it's hard to find up here. I have a lot of clients right now that are thinking, I need to get into one floor living. Where am I going to go? Sell your house up here. Price point, you probably could be in something really nice, 400s, 500s there, I'm guessing. Or if you want $1 million house down there, you're going to get a lot more up here, transition it down there and spend some time with Robyn. After this, I'm always about bringing the motivation. We're going to get the chat here. If you want specific homes or you want her to start sending you homes, I'm going to have you put your information into the chat in a couple of minutes. I'll finish up with this question because I appreciate your daughter being there with you for dinner, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but this area compared to other areas of Florida, and that's what intrigued me about you. You love the Gulf Coast. You speak about it, you honor it. So, I think there's something special there. You're never leaving there. You talk about it all the time. It's almost, you get people excited about that area. What is it compared to other areas of Florida? Because we know a lot of people consider other areas of Florida all the time. I don't hear a lot about the Gulf Coast, but we want to start getting those people to you and Eric and your team. So what do you love about it so much? Or why is it different than other areas of Florida?
I think that it's just such a special place, like I was saying earlier, there are so many different festivals. It's nice to wake up and just say, I'm going to go to the beach today. And, it's a 5 to 10 minute drive and you just feel like you're in your own slice of paradise. There are national parks and national seashores all along the coast. You have Fort Pickens, which is a phenomenal place to go and just wander through the older forts. And if you want a non-crowded area, you can go there. On Tuesdays during the summertime, we have bands on the beach. It's a phenomenal little place where you can kind of they have a free band that plays. You can bring a little picnic and just enjoy some music, watch the sunset. It's a great time. We have the local festivals. There's a great art scene. There's just so much
There's
to
a
love
lot.
about.
Yeah.
Great food, great people. Everyone is so friendly here. A lot of people call it like Lower Alabama just because, everybody is so friendly here along this coast.
It's funny you mentioned that. I just saw Eric because he's on. Hi, Eric. More people, it's more like a true Southern charm, he said. Less people, areas to go into with nature. It's funny. I went, I tried to get out and go fishing this weekend, and it was a beautiful day up here. And I almost was disappointed because my time is very, valuable. And if I can get 2 hours to go somewhere, I did. And guess what? All I did was run into crowds. And I do have to be in New Jersey for at least the next decade or decade and a half or two. But to have a place that you can get into nature and really feel like you're away and have the sophistication, have the flat surfaces, and to have nature, and to have the food. I bought an investment property in Maryland, and I'll probably never live there because it was too isolated. What I love about what I'm hearing today is that it's not isolated, and it's got charm. It's got the sophistication. It's got the food. It's got the ambiance. It's got the being busy, which is everything that somebody wants in a retirement area. I'm going to let Robyn get back to dinner with her daughter, but there are a couple of things I want to close with, and I do thank her for being the first of many series, and we're going to visit her probably in 3 months too. That way we can create these relationships. And the most important thing I think in the world are relationships. So tonight, I'm not a big fan of Zoom. In this case, I like belly to belly, face to face, creating relationships. In this instance, if you're starting to research retirement areas, I think it's a great way to, get to meet somebody. You've got somebody on the ground now, and you have her contact information. I would reach out to her. So we want to make sure you have her information. Before we go, if you could put in the chat, one, I'd like to know, I think we have 10 or 15 people on. One, was this valuable to you? Because Robin and I want feedback. Two, please put in your contact information, and I'm going to put back up here the whiteboard so everybody can take a picture of it, and everybody can, I don't want anybody to say we didn't get her information. So take your time. I'll put it up here for a second, and then I'll take it back down and we'll say our goodbyes. Robin's information again is, you should see it right now. Her cell phone, 229-347-0465. Robin's email, ROBYN @emailhy.com. So if
It's
you be,
HT.
Oh,
Email
excuse
HT.com.
email HT.com, not HY. Hold on. I could change that, I think, right now.
Like Hanson team.
Like Hanson team. There he is. Eric, how are you? .com. So we got HT.com. That was my fault. And then, I think it's valuable to reach out to her. The last thing I wanted to do, circling back next season, we talked about that. If this was valuable for everybody, I think it was. Let's open up to any questions. If you have any questions for Robin that we didn't cover, go for it. Everybody's always quiet at the end of these things. Come on. No questions. We answered everything for all of you. All right. Well, that being said, Robin, I wanted to thank you for your time. Eric,
Thank you so
your
much.
time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I know you're busy. You look really good on stage. You don't even know me. I was like, that guy looks like George Clooney. I saw that picture. I look
I'm
forward-
glad you did. Robin got a good laugh at that,
She
no
got a
doubt.
good
So did
laugh.
my
I saw
wife.
that. No, it was awesome, and I hope to meet you at the next family reunion.
Yeah,
for all you guests
sure.
for all you guests that are on here, you can see the relationships that we have with Keller Williams agents. We will take great care of you, and make sure you get Robin's information. This will be on my Facebook page, Robin's. It will be on YouTube. We'll get it out there. So for those of you that thought it was valuable and you want to share it with friends because you think your friends might want to think about the Gulf Coast, let's do it. You've got a great team member down there and a great team to help you. I appreciate it, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too.
Take care, Pete. Great job,
Yeah.
Robin.